pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will move into our consensus agenda.
Okay, I move we approve the vouchers for last month. Accounts payable vouchers were for $880,765.14. We had two payrolls for $524,992.37, bringing a grand total expenditure of $1,405,757.51. I also move we approve minutes from our last meeting.
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Steve, second by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Patrons comment? Yes, no patrons are here. We move on to personnel.
All right, so I would like to recommend the first week here for extracurricular activities. Recommend the approval of Rachel Watkins as a weight room supervisor, Ashley Dahl as a softball supervisor, and Lisa Beamish as a high school track supervisor.
Move we approve those three.
Second.
It's been moved by Ken, seconded by Steve. Any discussion?
Are these for next year or are these for the past year?
Next year.
Next year? Okay, thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Next, I'd like to recommend the approval of the resignation of Kim Stetzel as the high school cheer coach.
So moved.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
And just to know, just thank her for her service,
Yeah.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They've
So-
done a very good job under
Yep.
her leadership.
Absolutely. So, moving on to classified staff, I'd like to recommend the first three, once again, recommend the approval of Deb Green as part-time elementary custodian. If you read in the packet, obviously that's just due to some not being able to make over a certain amount. Amy Chisholm I'd recommend Amy Chisholm take her place as the full-time high school custodian. And then Kay Church as the high school nurse during Janelle Neidig's maternity leave.
Second.
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
I'd like to recommend the approval of Carrie Kennedy, who taught business for us last year, if you recall, as a substitute teacher.
Move we approve that. Carrie Kennedy is the substitute teacher.
Second.
Moved by Ken, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Not exactly showing this, but I assume because I'm not a supervisor, but I recommend the approval of Tori Kistler, Gage Riffle, Steve Watkins for summer custodial and maintenance staff.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
I'd like to recommend the approval of Casey Payton as a summer school instructional assistant. She obviously, in the meantime of naming those individuals, she has come back, so I'm going to go ahead and move into certified staff and also recommend Casey coming back to Triton Elementary School as a sixth grade teacher.
All right, go ahead. Second.
It's been moved by Ken, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
I'd like to recommend the approval of Evan Watkins as a junior senior high school math teacher.
So moved.
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
I'd like to make the recommendation that Melissa LaSure is named the interim Triton Elementary School principal.
I move we approve that position as we talked about.
Second.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
And lastly, in the certified staff, I'd like to recommend the approval of a medical leave for Grace. Obviously, she shared situation she's kind of going through right now in the board packet, but so likely going to be taking the year off, which will bring up some discussions next board meeting as far as who best to replace that position and or maybe a couple of the other positions that we're currently watching numbers at the grade levels for. So, but that she would take medical leave for the 2025-26 school year.
Move we approve that medical leave for Grace.
Second.
It's been moved by Ken, second by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
And finally, under administrative staff, I'd like to make the recommendation, as the recommendation was made to me, to approve Mason McIntyre as the elementary administrative assistant.
I move we approve Mason as the elementary administrative assistant. And man, that's a mouthful, Mason.
Second.
Looking forward to having him here.
And I need to recuse myself.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 3-0-1.
Other business?
Yep.
I would like to make a recommendation to approve the elementary student handbook. In your packets, obviously, was the red line edition of that, and then the master copy of that. So if there's any questions, be glad to take those, or if there's any questions for Christine in the conversations that were had during that process, be glad to take some of those.
I move we approve the elementary handbook as presented. Second.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0.
Last but not least, we'd like to recommend the approval of the 2025-26 school year meal prices. Just for transparency's sake, obviously this will be advertised and parents will see this during registration. But we would propose the elementary breakfast increasing by 5 cents and the lunch increasing by 10 cents. The high school breakfast increasing by 10 cents and the lunch by 30 cents. Those obviously will be listed and parents will have that in those new increases, but if anybody's watching tonight or has questions on that, they know how that's going to impact their kiddo. So 5 cents, 10 cents at the elementary, 10 cents and 30 cents at the high school.
I move that we approve these increases.
I'll second that.
It's moved by Ken, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. Superintendent's report.
You kind of already asked for discussion on that, but just those prices. Tried to keep those as small as we possibly can while still being fiscally responsible with the food prices and everything that has increased. So making sure that we're not working at a loss in those. Elementary is doing pretty well. High school, maybe not as well when it comes to just covering costs. Which is why you see a little bit different increase at the lunch at the high school. So, but we're continuing to try to make foods they like so they eat more of it and buy more of it, and it becomes a little bit more of a wash. So I'm going to go ahead and start, as we normally do, with continuous improvement. Morris & Son Roofing is nearly 50% complete with the elementary roof project and is on schedule to be completed in early July. I did post some pictures of that today. So Devin Shively's been awesome at communicating with us on how the project's going. I think the only contingency plans they've used, there was a small portion of wet insulation, and they've replaced 2 drains. So pretty relatively small impact on the contingencies, which we're hoping we get back. So I want to thank them. Currently, there have been minimal contingencies used for the insulation, and which means we have avoided any significant damage to the board's proactive, due to your proactive response to replacing the portion that was flaking off. If you recall, there were white flakes from the coating that they had put on some 10 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So damage underneath that is minimal to none. So that's great. Shared leadership, I want to begin the shared leadership portion of our meeting with a thanks to Christine Cook, who's in the audience tonight. So 26 and a half years of service to Triton School Corporation and our community. She's worked tirelessly to make Triton a great place for kids. She's agreed to remain a mentor, which if you guys recall, you did for me with Donna in that transition, was so helpful. We have continued that with transition, I believe, with athletic director, with maintenance, director of maintenance. Christine has said she would be more than happy to take a phone call or two from Melissa if needed in the coming year. Also, I know Christine has a wealth of knowledge with the preschool, which is going through at the state level some funding changes on my way pre-K, so that's going to be helpful to have somebody who's been there and done that in that area. That being said, I would also like to congratulate Melissa, who was unanimously voted in as the Triton Elementary interim principal, along with newly hired teammate Mason McIntyre, who will be the elementary administrative assistant. This team, along with the support of our administrators, teachers, and support staff, will continue to work to listen, respond, grow, and seek to be unoffended. It's something we've talked a lot about, of trying to just listen and be unoffended in the process of trying to make Triton Elementary School a great place, take feedback, and do everything we can to make that a good situation for this year as we try a shared leadership model in that. So that is the shared leadership piece. Social responsibility, congratulations to our 2025 graduates. Obviously a great ceremony. Seems like a long time ago now, what, 2 Sundays ago?
One Sunday, well.
Yeah,
yesterday.
not long,
We could go
not too
yesterday.
long ago. It seems like a long time ago. But we owe it to our community, when we talk about social responsibility, we owe it to our community to do our best to help prepare our students for life and service to either our community or the community they choose to serve. This class has a bright future, and we're very proud of their achievement. I'm excited to announce a new, we actually just had a conversation today about campus to community. One of the new initiatives that we'll see with our administrators next year, instead of the community coming to us for things, we're going to try to go to those communities, whether that's just to go to listen, go to give information, and that's going to start on July 7th and 8th, I believe, 7th and 8th. We may have just that. We may have just that, okay? I did speak to the people involved on that, so we may have to give a different date. So we will be visiting, maybe not on the 7th and 8th now, but we'll be visiting the pavilion in Bourbon. So if that's just a little bit safer space for somebody to come meet us and get some, like down by the park, like by the Little League Diamonds in Bourbon, just right over by the playground. The Tippecanoe Firehouse, and then the Etna Green Community Building. So having the conversations with them to say maybe pre-registration, get to know, ask questions, if that's a little bit safer space for people to come see us, meet us, for us to go and meet them. We'll see how that goes, right? And we'll continue to have conversations on a date. So I did have the dates here. Those are the perceived locations. I think it's going to stay that way, but like I said, that was a today conversation of just what are things we can do to, our teachers have asked, right? Visibility is one of the things they want to see, which we're also going to ask our teachers to be visible when it comes to our community. And let's get back to some of the things that we held a little bit more dear before COVID, right? Because we all kind of went in our shells and silos. So just trying to change with that. This is a reminder that registration for both the elementary and the high school is July 23rd and 24th. So the July 23rd is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. July 24th, as of right now, is 12 to 6 p.m. Once again, just be listening for postings on that. We'll send out school messenger messages for that, just to remind parents. I know people don't want to think about registration. Seems like we just got out of school, but we are kind of closing one chapter, opening the new. Accountability, summer school teachers and students are working hard to supplement the growth that happened this school year. Students will retake iRead 3 assessment next week, which will help determine classroom teacher needs and placements for the 2025 school year. Also want to thank the teachers, parents, and board members who sat in on the elementary principal interviews, knowing that all perspectives are important in order to make the best decision possible for that. High expectations. Congratulations to our varsity baseball team for making it to the regional and coming up just short, but put together a great season. Mm-hmm. They had a great year, finishing 20-10. So 20 wins is outstanding. They've come a long ways, and obviously the effort that has been put into a new way of doing things has been obviously improved them a lot. So just a great improvement from years in the past, a testament to coaching, and teaching players to practice and play the right way, leading to incredible improvement. I think it's also fair to mention that the leadership on this year's team was outstanding. Alignment, this week, tomorrow and Wednesday, we'll have the Smeckens Playbook training in the elementary school for grades K through 5, where teachers will align across grade levels to learn and prepare to implement this curriculum across the corporation. And last but not least, evidence-based decision-making. We're currently in a holding pattern, as Mrs. Cook might mention, as far as naming teachers, just based on trying to be as fiscally responsible as we possibly can. I-read assessment results have something to do with that. Student needs, new enrollments, but also financial stewardship as we try to decide staffing for the elementary for next school year. So a couple grade levels are teeter-tottering on making that move, but the I-read 3 assessment in 3rd and 4th grade is going to play a big role in that. So feel free to fill in any details on that.
Are our test scores still embargoed?
They are till July 1st.
Are you talking about
iRead or iLearn?
I learned.
I have preliminary results, but the official results come out July 1st.
All right, there's no patrons in the building, so we'll move on to building reports.
I'm going to repeat several things Jeremy said, but I'm going to make it shorter since he already gave a lot of the details. Since we met last time, I mean, the last few weeks of school just went fast and furious, as May always does, it seems like. We started off with Staff Appreciation Week. We took learning on the road to a number of outdoor destinations for learning, honored a few retirees, graduated 20 preschoolers, recognized achievements of select 6th graders, and then all 6th graders moving on to the junior high next year. We cheered on our honor roll students also for the last quarter. We have finished the official school year then with field day all day on Friday, and no major injuries, I'm glad to report, and the red team emerged victorious over that. It's always a fun day. We went through screeners and interviews to hire a 6th grade teacher, and we are currently looking to fill another position, as Jeremy mentioned. We've had some interviews for that and have another one tomorrow, and that's all in the process. Currently, we have over 70 students daily in summer school, pre-K through 3rd grade. Several, as he mentioned, will be taking iRead 3 next week. Many teachers are involved in professional development for the new language arts curriculum throughout the summer. The roof project continues, and then we're also finishing the week after summer school some office projects left over from last year, and that will be the last week in June. With this being my last board meeting, I'd just like to say thank you to the school corporation and for the school board for allowing me to be a part of this dedicated team committed to serving students in our community. I think that's the one thing that I will really miss the most, is just being part of an organization, people working together for the same cause, bringing differences to our different perspectives and our different expertise to the cause, and just trying to find ways to remove obstacles to learning and to help produce good citizens and educated individuals. So I will miss that. I've been fortunate to work with many exceptional people over the years that have helped me personally grow and learn and try new things. And I'm really proud of the impact that we've had on students. Although I recognize we don't often see that in the short term. More often we see it in the long term. And sometimes we have to look for those, but when we do, I think we can smile and say, you know, we did good, we tried our best. And I think that's really what it's all about. I know that you will continue working toward those things. I think that making Triton our school of choice for many around here. And I wish Melissa and Mason well as they take over and make those decisions that I'm going to leave to somebody else. So, if there are any questions?
Okay, I do not have a lot to report out for the junior, senior high school. On Sunday, June 1st, roughly 65 students graduated. Some of those were juniors. We had a handful of juniors that were able to graduate early this year. I just want to thank everyone that was able to attend that, as well as those that helped set up and tear down. That can be a production, and we just appreciate all the assistance we had with that. We currently have approximately 60 students taking at least one summer school class. So we're constantly monitoring that and communicating with those students to make sure that they are actually doing their summer school work. But a lot of kids are working hard this summer to either catch up or get ahead. So appreciate their hard work. At this time of the year, we're just trying to tie up loose ends from the previous year and gear up for the next school year. So a lot of work happening right now for that. Again, registration July 23rd and 24th. We have a 7th grade orientation that will take place on July 29th at 6:30. And we have a CTE and internship orientation on July 30th at 6:30. And we do have August 4th as our all-staff orientation day, and plans are still in the process for that. But other than that, we're just looking forward to summer. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there is no other business, we will move to adjourn at 7:21.